sobriety by handing out tokens. The most important one is the first one. Is there anyone here newly sober who does not have a 24-hour token? Someone sober less than 30 days? Anybody else? How about 30 days? Anybody celebrate 30 days? I knew there was that. And another one.
Keep coming back.
How about 60 days? 2 months? 3 months?
Hey.
Alright.
Come back, man. 6 months. 9 months. Anybody celebrating a year? 2 through 5. 5 through 10. Anybody? Any other anniversaries tonight? Okay, let's give the people who got tokens a big hand. We're going to start with them for being sober today.
Sticking with the seventh tradition, I'll pass around a basket and put your slips in there and probably sign them.
As long as it's filled out. As long as it's filled out.
As long as it's filled out, he
You
said.
gotta fill it out.
Okay, we have literature back here on that little table. The pamphlets are free for the taking. The books are what they cost the group, and if you need a big book, see me after the meeting if you don't have the money or work something out. And yes, I haven't forgot anything. Now we get to the reason we're here tonight. I've known this man for a few years. I don't know if I ever heard his lead or not, but I guess I'll hear it tonight. And I know one thing about him, he's got a real good sponsor. And it takes a good sponsor in the program. Would you help me welcome Mark?
Mark.
This gets in the way.
No.
Thanks, Ron. I'm Mark. I'm an alcoholic.
Mark.
I'm grateful to be here tonight and grateful that you came to. It's easy to get used to living this way after a while. For me, it's, but I can't. I'm an alcoholic, always be an alcoholic. I'm not going to get to the place where I'm immune to that reaction that I used to have when I drank. But with some little bit of time in sobriety, it still can come back. I still have times or triggers that remind me of how that first beer tasted in the heat of the summer, or what I used to do when I was working out in the shop or outside. I didn't do much anything outside when I was home that I wasn't drinking. And to not live like that, it was a big change for me, but it's a change I had to make, because on January 7th of 2007, I reached my bottom and knew that I had to do something had to change. Back in the early 90s, I'm going to jump back a little bit, then I'll go back. I don't really know what's going to come out, but I didn't really plan it a whole lot, but usually for me it works out better that way. Back in the early 90s, I had my first experience with AA, and I remember seeing Dick back then, and down Troy. I went through the Detmer's outpatient program, put myself in it, believe it or not. And I wasn't even old enough to legally buy a beer yet. And here I was, already a problematic alcoholic that needed to quit drinking. And so I managed to stay dry for a few years. Attempted to work, I don't know, probably steps 1 through 3, maybe a little bit of 4. I can't remember now. And life made a twist, and I proceeded to drink for several more years. But back when I was a kid, I didn't feel like I had a normal childhood. I felt like a raw wound the whole time I was growing up, and just never felt like I fit in anywhere. Grew up in the area here. Spent most of my childhood in Piqua, and lived in the Sidney area for quite some time now, but just didn't fit in. But buddy, when I got some alcohol, I felt like I found that grease I needed to get that square peg in that round hole. And I never was a social drinker from the very first time I ever had a beer. I think when I was 5 years old, I thought, man, a 5-year-old kid saying, "Wait, I can't wait till I get another one. I can't wait to feel this feeling again." And I think it was about 12 years old I got my next one. And one beer, and I was jumping up and down on the bed, crazy, half crazy. But I thought, this is what I need. I can't wait to get some more. I can't wait to make this a part of my life. And at 15 years old, I found somebody willing to sell it to me. And I just got as much as I could, as often as I could, and drank as much as I could. Got suspended from school for coming to school the next day half drunk still. I didn't see a problem. I figured, I quit drinking like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I couldn't believe they could still smell it at 7 o'clock the next morning. And I still remember my mom taking me home after I was suspended and quoting the Bible to me about drunkards aren't going to inherit the kingdom of God and this kind of stuff. And that didn't help. That didn't help. But it was something that I was going to latch on to for quite some time. I got 2 brothers and a sister, and another half brother that's pretty young, and I'm the oldest of all of them. And I've always been sort of a loner. I've been blessed with many talents. So I'm always, seems like those talents are always in demand. I work myself crazy sometimes, and it's one of those other isms I have too, with working. But it's I don't know. Alcohol was never enough. I mean, there were days and nights when I would drink and it just hit the right spot just the right way. But the more I drank, the longer it went on, it got where it wasn't doing it for me anymore. I just couldn't get along with life. I couldn't find my place with feeling normal when I was around other people. I hadn't lost a job. I hadn't had any DUIs, and I hadn't lost homes or lost a marriage, and all those things I preface, or not preface, but I end with yes, because it could happen to me too if I chose to drink. This life here is I left a way that was killing me and killing everything important to me in my life to experience this gift that I've been given with sobriety and have a new life. One that I never thought I could have. And I've got all kinds of new friends. Now I look at things different than I used to. The old me's still in there, and if I don't stay on top of my spiritual life, and I don't turn to the power that is not me, that when I run my own life, it's usually disaster. But as long as I can have just a little spark of connection that, hey, it's not about you, it's about your higher power, and I have something to ignite that in my head, whether it's a sponsor or whether it's anything else, there's hope. And every day I wake up and ask God for another day of sobriety, and it's a miracle, it's a gift. I didn't lose those things, those physical things I told you about, but I lost my will to live, and I lost my will to keep going. I just wanted to pain the end, because the drinking it was just all I wanted to do. It was all I wanted to do. Is everything was planned. Everything I planned around was how could I do that and still be able to get my drink. I had some experiences with a few drugs in my teenage years, and I could see where I could I could have took off some of that other stuff too, but thank God I didn't. But alcohol's plenty enough. And I crashed a truck that I bought. It was about 3 months old when I bought it, and it was a new truck, new S10. And drinking, thought I could straighten out some curves, ran it right into some trees, and that was when I just started working. And I was pretty young. I suppose I was 18, something like that. 2 o'clock in the morning, crashed my truck. I'm just a kid. Somebody will help me, right? So I go it's out in the middle of the country in Licking County, where all the gravel roads. I don't know if anybody knows Licking County roads, but there's a lot of gravel roads over there. And did a lot of drinking on those roads. And I got to go up to the first house I could walk to. And I tapped on the door, and I told the people, I said, I just wrecked my truck. Can you help me? And they said, no, and I got a gun. So I slammed the door in my face, and I thought, my God, what am I going to do now? I called my boss, and he come and he pulled my truck out, I think. It was either that night or the next day, but I just never could. I couldn't imagine not drinking. I just couldn't imagine. I just was always looking for a way to make it more a part of my life, and everybody else leave me alone. I ain't bothering you. I used to think that normal thoughts were me planning a move to Wyoming, Montana, filling the back of the truck up with all kinds of alcohol, taking my dog, taking my music, and moving out there and just finding a place to camp. I just thought that wasn't normal. That wasn't normal at all. But that's where I was going. I just wanted to escape. I didn't want to be a part of this life that was around me. And so about that time, a little bit after that, I through some encouragement from some other people that, hey, you might have a problem. Hey, we hate to see you drinking so much. You should look at it. I ended up in this treatment program. And then, in my period where I was dry, I got married, still married to the same woman. I continued on with my career. I've had pretty good jobs. But it got to the place where, like I told you, I lost my will to live and was looking for a way out. And on that night, that cold night in January, I really reached the bottom, and for the second time, and I just wanted it to end. And it still took me 3 days after that to go to an AA meeting, but I did, and I was over here on a Wednesday night, and I was feeling lower than a snake's belly. Now, I wasn't grooving the disco or anything like that either. I didn't feel like grooving, but it was bad. But I found a room full of people just like you, and they were there for me, and they let me hang on to them until I could stand on my own feet. And I really poured into the program at that time, and knew I had to, because it was life and death for me. It really was. And
Got an off switch on that thing.
Clear that out.
but I found the program in Sidney here is a really good place to get sober, and I've been to meetings in other areas, and this is close to my home. I don't live right in town, I live out in the country, but it's just good people here, and got a good support group here, and in outlying areas too. I get over to meetings a little bit over. Go to the Rosewood meeting sometimes, and go to Bell Fountain sometimes. I haven't been to Urbana for a while, but we got a lot of good meetings in the area, and I know from experience that if for me, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I just wanted to change, and I poured into the program, and I found sobriety, and I found hope, and I found a lot of people that would help me along and encourage me, and work the steps. That cleans. They say clean house, and that's part of the cleaning house is getting through all that. And I wouldn't be sober tonight if I didn't go through and follow those suggestions. It's a life that I'm glad I don't have to live anymore. Like I said earlier, I still have these thoughts about, every now and then there'll be a drinking thought comes in, but I immediately got to associate that with, that last bottom, dark, deep, emotional pit that I was in, because that's exactly where it'll take me right back to. I can't forget that, and it's in these rooms where that freedom comes, and this program has saved my life. I've had it hasn't been a roll bowl of cherries since I've been sober. I've had a lot of stuff come my way that just had to work through, and I could have chose not to. I could have went back to drinking, but you gave me enough of a taste of what this is like, and that by the grace of God, and it's by His grace and by His strength that I'm standing here. And anything good that comes out of my life today is to His glory. But it's all the book talks about how its whole purpose is to find the higher power. If I hadn't found that higher power, I hadn't had that spiritual spiritual experience and kept on going myself, I really think I would have been dead by now. We moved to Florida. I was telling somebody earlier before the meeting, we moved to Florida back in the mid-90s. I was in my 20s. I still had a little more energy than I do now. And we bought a place down there. Started owning a place up here. Set that up. We moved down there. Left my job. Found a job. Went down there without a job, and I found a job in 2 weeks. And we stayed down there. I stayed down there for like 6 months. Moved back up here. Moved back in with my mom while I was looking for a place to move us back to. We're still where we moved back to, but it was some lonely nights up here, and yeah, this is why I was still drinking. And I don't know. I just can't imagine finding solace in what I used to do anymore now. You know, I've got enough days put together that this is the new normal for me. You know, whether you got a day or whether you got 20 years, you know, what I have is just today. And I got to pour into today, not think that, you know, a week or a year or 5 years is going to keep me sober tomorrow, because it's not. But it, you know, I got a lot of memories about the misery. You know, I'm glad I do. That's what they talk about, not wishing to shut the door on the past, because that's what I can share. You know, I can get pretty negative, and you know, this life now is about positive. That I had to go through that stuff to get where I'm at today, and it's a part of who I am, but it's not a part of who I have to be from now on. And you know, I there's always something to be thankful for me, and just to be able to stand, able to walk. I mean, there's always something to be thankful for. And there's hope here, and I just want anybody that's struggling with whether you belong here, anybody that's struggling with maybe drinking's the answer, maybe going back to my old life's the answer. I just want you to hear that here is hope, and you don't have to live that way anymore. I don't have to live that way anymore. And you know, please give this thing a chance. Please get a sponsor. Please work the steps. This program will save your life. It'll save mine. And you know, there's been, like I said, there's been a lot of stuff come my way since I've been sober. I had an incident in 2008 with family it was just awful. Didn't drink. Lost my job that I had for almost 15 years in 2008. Didn't drink. We've had several things since then, and you know, the good times and the bad times. You know, I can go outside, and especially on last several days, the last week or two, it's been so nice out. The weather's been so nice. I go out there and just take in the nature, and it's just, I'm so thankful to be able to, one, to experience that, and two, to experience it sober. And it's all gifts, you know. I've been fortunate to gain some certifications I always wanted to get. Renewed some that I'd already had earlier this year. Just got another one in August. Well, still last month, a few more hours. And somebody said, well, that's a gift of reward of sobriety. Yeah, it is. It is. And I want to keep going with this new life that I have. It never has to get dull. It never has to get old. It never has to get to be old hat, because every day, every 24-hour period is enough in itself. I can't, I plan for the future. I have goals. I work for the future, but I can't think, well, I'm sober today, I'll still be sober 5-10 years from now. It's built for me one day at a time. Every day is one of those building blocks to tomorrow. And when I'm having one of my days where I just want to throw in the towel on everything, I still can be thankful for the grace of God that keeps me going, because He is always there. All I have to do is push the pause button and let Him do the rest. So I can get pretty wound up. Man, I can get wound up bad. And you probably most folks that I'm around don't hear me cuss too much, but when I'm by myself, I'm glad folks can't hear my thoughts sometimes. And I have my character defects. I have things that continually can cause me consequences in other areas. I'm pretty much a get from point A to point B kind of guy. And driving is what I'm talking about. And if I can't accomplish that goal the way I think I need to accomplish it because of somebody else, I think I can get upset. And this program's in my relationship with my higher power gives me serenity. So, but there's times where I can drive and just relax and take it in. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I don't usually drive as fast as I used to drive, but and there's times where I enjoy the trip more often too. I'm still driving 45 minutes one way to work. I haven't lived any closer than 20 miles from work in probably 22 years, something like that. I wouldn't mind being a little closer to work, but I don't know. I guess I'm running out of things to say, so I think I'm going to shut it off. But I just encourage everybody to come back, including myself, and congratulations, everybody got tokens tonight. And thanks for letting me talk.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.